How you doing, YouTube? Matt, Master Beer Reviews, back to yet another review. A little bit of that wine grape juiciness all up in that IPA business on today's Master Beer Review in the form of Mikkeller Brewing. It is their Don Graper. Yeah, I've really wanted to try this ever since it came out. This can, my friends, is... there is no date on here, is there? I don't know. Can't read it. It's relatively new. Sent to me by my buddy Pat. Vegas way, wanted to send me some beers, wanted to send me mystery beers. This is one of the non-mystery beers. Kind of excited to try it because I love it when the mixture of the kind of that big vinous kind of punch you get from those grape juices in an IPA if it's done right. Some of it had a little bit too heavy-handed, comes off a little bit too much wine, a little light-handed, where they kind of get lost in the beer. So if they're done right, they really kind of do me proper. So hopefully this is that one. What does it say on here? It says Don Graper. This is brewed and canned, Miller, San Diego. Drink fresh, 1 pint. New England style IPA, 7% alcohol by volume, and it is brewed with Riesling grape juice. Label-wise, it's awesome. You got a little Betty in the background. You get a little Don Draper going on there, a little John Hamm action, but a little Mikkeller dude instead of John Hamm for licensing reasons. There you go. Let's see what's what. That's the haze, baby. Yeah, John Hamm, the man with the mythical penis. Anyway. What do we have going on here? Just over an index finger, infinite creaminess, super tight compact bubbles. As you can see, that rich kind of orange core with a little bit of a kind of cataract-y, kind of milky edges on it you'd expect from a lot of these New England style IPAs. Yeah, you can take a nap on that sucker. Let's see what the nose has. Just rich dankness. You know, there's a rich, sweet, like overly fermented kind of fruit. Apricot, cantaloupe, citrus, just throw it all in there, but very kind of pushed down, nothing too great. Like when the fruit gets a little bit over fermented, it kind of loses its sweetness, that kind of thing. And then you get a soft blanket, fluffy kind of dankness floating around in there. Yeah, there is a big sweetness underneath there. You can tell it smells a bit dense, smells a little bit thick. I'm not getting a big grape juice, Riesling grape juice component out of it, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, gun to my head, sure, there smells like there's a little bit more depth, that fruitiness, than what just hops typically bring, but nothing too big in the nose. Let's see what taste has to offer. Cheers. That's good. First off, hazy, New England style double IPA with a bit more sweetness than you're typically used to, or I am, I should say. But I think that's residual sweetness from being brewed with that grape juice. I assume it's just added at some point in secondary. We'll see. Or we won't see. You guys can go find out. I'm not going to look it up. Anyway, yeah, you get this nice, soft richness to it. You get that kind of water nerdery thing going on where they're kind of, you know, process and fuck with the water the way they want it to be, where it kind of helps drop out all bitterness while at the same time kind of props up a lot of the bits and pieces that makes it hazy, adds that little bit of minerality to it. Get that going on for it, which is right up my alley. It's one of my favorite kind of vibes. I do like there to be a bit of bitterness with that, even though that's used more times than not to combat bitterness. And this one is one of those cases where the bittering is kind of lost in there. Sure, you get a little bit of kind of that hop astringency kind of floating around the edges, but nothing too crazy. I think that's why the beer ends up coming off a bit sweeter, combined with that residual kind of grape juice. So really nice mouthfeel. That fruit component, the way the hops show, that sweetness ends up coming off kind of that medley I talked about on the nose. It's just very kind of straight to the point, nothing too crazy. Kind of rounded tropical fruit in the cantaloupe world, nectarine world, and then you're kind of like soft citrus with nothing too definite, nothing too specific. But then you have that grape juiciness, that vinous white kind of grape juiciness that just kind of floats around the whole thing and adds this extra component of sweetness, but also brings that kind of grape bits and pieces to the game. Ends up coming off as a super nice added component. I think it's well balanced with the rest, with the rest of the beer. But at the same time, it's weird because since it's balanced with the beer, I think that added bit of sweetness it brings, the flavors balance, not the sweetness, the added bit of sweetness that this grape juice brings, with that lack of bitterness being in the beer itself, being how it's made in their kind of goal of kind of dropping it all out, it just tends to come off a bit sweeter than I really want it to land. I really dig it though, to be perfectly honest with you. This is probably one of the more sweeter double IPAs I've had as of late, but at the same time it's probably one of the more interesting, one of the tastier ones. It's kind of like internally fighting myself. I want that bitterness to balance off that sweetness, and it is a bit too sweet, but I really dig it, and I like the balance of flavors. I like the way the hop show, I like the way the grape shows, and I like the way the malt plays. I think outside of that just added sweetness component, if you're some way to kind of bring that sweetness down, you'd have me. You'd have me all over it. I'd be clamoring for this stuff. Same time, I think it's damn tasty stuff. Let's talk about it. Is it one of the better, bigger IPA, double IPA, 7% IPAs I've had as of late? Even with that, sweetness being bigger than I want it to be, it is. It's pretty damn tasty stuff. Again, I am a sucker for that grape juice combined with an IPA. It works for me, and this one does it quite well, even with that big sweet component to it. Value availability, no idea. Maybe Pat could chime in and leave you with, if you like what we like this. If you like the beers that use the grape juice, I mean, Trillium dialed in comes to mind. This is up there. Is it just like a Trillium beer? Not even close. I think this one, Trillium tends to get that sweetness right, and does have a little bit of kind of bitterness floating around, just kind of bounce off any sweetnesses in there with how little bittering is in here. The sweetness does get away from you. But if you do like that mix of the grape juice and IPA, plus you like your beers to skew a bit sweet, this could probably be cash money for you, baby. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed your review. Hopefully enjoying a nice big Mikkeller beer right now. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.